Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of What's Going On Malaysia, truly Asia. Hey everyone, how you doing? My name is Harith Iskandar, and thank you very much for joining us. If you've just joined us right now, we're live right now on Facebook and Instagram. And we've got a really an episode that I can say that tonight I think might explode, because we're going to be talking about a topic which is close to my heart, and I think at the end of the day close to everyone's kind of heart at the moment. But first of all, I just want to let you know that this is an interactive show, particularly tonight, because I've sent out an earlier Twitter and Facebook message to anybody who has experienced racism to join me in the show, and a few people have responded, so they will be joining me. But first of all, just want to acknowledge everyone who's watching out there. Tina, Chris, good evening. What's up? What's going on? Sashi, Doshi, hello Houston, are you there? Hello Houston, are you there? I'm just pressing buttons here. Sugan Lee, apa khabar, Sugan? Thank you so much for joining in the show, as well as Chong Kok Wei. This is going to be an interactive show. Can you guys hear me? All good audio? Just want to check on Discover the World on YouTube. Also, what's going on, Harith? Sifat Research, say hello. Gavin Koo, Harima, guys, thank you so much for watching the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much. We've got an episode. I think we've got a topic tonight that is just going to pop. Now, before I begin, I think most of you, if not all of you, saw the Facebook or the Instagram or the Twitter post where I posted up the poster of tonight's topic. Racism, let's talk about it. And I put 3 videos. One video was this incident in Shah Alam where people were fighting over a car park. Another incident was a photograph of a lady, some cooking show person who gave some disparaging remarks about a certain race going back to their own country. And another one was actually from Singapore, where an Indian guy was performing some prayer rituals in front of his house, and some Chinese lady was being disruptive at the back. Now, on Facebook, what started quite interestingly was a lot of people were commenting like, "Hey, the car park incident of parking of the car, bukan racism. It's nothing to do with racism. Or you're only trying to get views. You're only trying to get likes." There's a lot of people commenting or in one particular thread where, "Oh, Harith, just trying to get likes, trying to liken this to racism." Guys, you're right. You are absolutely correct. As I studied the video more carefully, I realized, although I don't speak Tamil, and I checked with someone who does speak Tamil, there were no racial elements in that particular clip. Not that any racial elements were recorded. However, I was appalled. I was absolutely disgusted by the level of anger, of violence, of the pushing, and that's why I was like, I just want to talk about this as well. Okay, maybe it's not to do with race, but it's crap. But people were like, "No lah, tak, biasalah tu, itu kes parking je, biasalah." Dude, if that happened every time I went parking, I wouldn't drive. I would not drive. Seriously, dude, seriously, this is absolutely crazy. But anyway, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody watching. We have got an amazing show. I have got some people lined up who are everyday people. Yeah, just people who have responded to me. And my team got in touch with them, and they are in the waiting room right now to talk about racism. But first, let's open up the topic. I want you to know that we are watching you. I would like you very much. I would appreciate very much everyone right now. Please share the Facebook clip. If you're on YouTube, please share the YouTube clip. There are more incidents in Singapore and it's getting on my nerves. From Silent Whispers 359 on YouTube in Singapore says there are more incidents in Singapore. Let's talk about that. Guys, please share this Facebook Live. Please comment as much as you can. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the comments, and we are going to be talking with you who are watching the show, as well as some very special guests about incidents of racism. Now, let me start with my own small incident of racism. Okay. This is really one of many, but yeah, Mak Saleh macam aku pun kena racism. Relax, brother. Kau ingat apa? Ada ramai yang kata, oh hari tu alah, dia tu liberal, dia Mak Saleh tu, dia malah dia kutuk Melayu. The fact that you have to say something like dia kutuk Melayu, yeah, I kutuk everyone, okay? Aku kutuk Melayu, aku kutuk Cina, aku ke India, Bajau, Karasan. Kalau awak buat bodoh, awak akan kena kutuk, okay? It's just as simple as that, guys. This is not about, as far as I'm concerned, not about race, because my late father was Malay, my late mother was English, my wife is Chindian, Chinese Indian, and I tick all the boxes. Malay, Chinese, Indian, other. Boom. My children going mental. They don't even know what they are. Dude, it's crazy. You know what? Okay, my story of race is actually minuscule. Racism is actually very, very small compared to the stories that are coming up that you will hear from people on who are going to be joining me in the show. But okay, check this out. I was fortunate enough. Saya memang bernasib baik. My parents had saved up all their money. They worked really, really hard. They were not that rich, but they had saved up enough to send me to Australia, Curtin University, Perth, Western Australia, to go to boarding school when I finished my Form 5. By the way, SPM students, what's up? I pun habis Form 5 dulu, grade 3. Bodo. Okay, so, but the point was, I went to Australia. Dengan muka ni, I assimilated with the Australians, and there were a lot of Malaysians in Australia in the boarding school as well. A lot of Malays, a lot of Chinese, a lot of Malaysians in the school. And I made friends with all the Australians and everybody, blah, blah, blah. Like, after a while, all the Australians didn't know I was Malaysian. There was one incident, I was playing tennis with a friend, and then he started abusing some other, I think it was a Vietnamese guy, Asian guy, who was saying, oh, fucking Asian, mate, you're fucking Asian. And I turned to my friend, who's a friend at the time, and I said, bro, what are you saying? No, he's a fucking Asian, mate, he's fucking Asian. And I'm like, bro, I'm Asian. And my friend was like, no, you're not Asian. He's an Asian. You're not Asian. I said, bro, I am an Asian. I am Asian. I'm Malaysian. He was like, no, you're not fucking Asian, mate. You're one of us, mate. He's a fucking Asian. And ini dipanggil reverse racism. He refused to be racist towards me, although I was Asian. Ini cerita benar tapi cerita bodoh. All right, guys. Once again, please share this Facebook post. Lily Wang, hi Harith, what's going on, Lily Wang? Guys, I've got a lot of guests waiting in the room right now. I'm going to bring this up. First of all, let me just take this comment here from Nur Hisham Othman. You will never eliminate racism, especially in a multicultural country like Malaysia, but there only a handful of those idiots that make the most noise. Why do we need to be part of this minority? Ungrateful #heads. Come on, lah. Racism isn't exclusive to Malaysia, by the way, but we're talking about Malaysian racism right now. So, yeah. So, I tell you what. You know what? Who wants to hear from me, right? I'm Harith Iskandar. What the hell? I'm going to bring on my first guest. Now, when I say my guest, I don't know these people. They responded to me on Twitter and Facebook, and they've agreed to join the show. I have 3 people awaiting in line at the moment. The first guy I'm going to bring on, I don't know, Malcolm Ignatius, I don't know where you are in the room. You're not in the room. I'm going to bring on a guy here who is known as MJ. That is his name. I'm going to bring him into the stream. MJ, what's going on? What's up? Okay, I think I need to unmute you, or let me see. Okay, I'm unmuted.
Unmuted. Yeah, I'm unmuted.
Hey, MJ, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you for having me on your show.
Good. I know, my pleasure. Where are you at the moment, MJ? Where do you reside?
I'm sorry. Where am I residing? I'm currently residing in Subang Jaya. Yeah.
And so, Kaya, what do you do, MJ?
Um, I'm a law lecturer, part-time law lecturer, and yeah, I run my own NGO as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? You're a law
yeah,
lecturer.
yeah. I'm a law lecturer. I was previously a full-time law lecturer. I'm just a part-time law lecturer lah.
Apa bezanya full-time law lecturer dengan part-time law lecturer?
Oh, previously, I was full-time in a particular institution. It was under it's Unicorp College. It's under the Koperasi PDRM.
Okay.
And right now, I'm a part-time lecturer under OSJ Global, teaching ACCA.
Dude, MJ, I have no idea what you're talking about. Everything you just said, OSJ, ASJ, AJK, straight over my head, bro. Okay, bro. So MJ, jump straight into it. Have you experienced racism in your life? Tell us about it.
Yes, there are numerous instances in which I have actually faced racism. It was not actually a very pleasing moment. It was quite heartbreaking in the sense as well. So I still remember that time. I've newly came down here to KL. So I was looking for houses to actually rent that time because I was originally based in Johor, and I only recently shifted to KL, like I think around 2 years, so on. So I was looking through for some rented places, and yeah, I met some property agents and all that, and I think some of the property agents didn't know my race because maybe I have a different accent on the phone. So when she meet me and all that, and then she asked like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, but the owner of the house, doesn't accept people of your race to actually stay here. But no issues. I will show you another unit." But then I told her, no, I've actually asked for this particular unit due to the cost, due to the strategic location and all that. I do not want another unit. What's the issue of me being a particular race to stay here? She said, oh no, the owner just thinks that if you're from that particular race, you'll keep the house messy, you won't pay your rent on time. And I was asking her, okay, do you want to check my C3s and C-cross records? C3s, I can show you. I've always paid my bills and dues on time. She said, oh, it's very difficult. I'm so sorry, you can't do this and all that. So that was one time. So I was like, okay, never mind. There are many other instances that I can do. So I started to text a few property agents and all that. So yeah, we were talking through normal. And then they asked me, there will be that one question they asked, may I know what race are you? And I was like, okay, I'm Indian. Okay, I'm Indian. And then after that, he didn't reply. And I was like, okay, is there any issue? Oh, I'm so sorry. The owner doesn't agree. And when I continued the conversation, he just ignored. He blue ticked me. It's like even worse when the girl you have a crush on, when she blue ticks you. This is even worse. He straight away blue
Dude. Oh, so when the girl who blue ticks you but doesn't reply, not so bad lah. But when the
not so
housing
bad.
blue ticks you and doesn't reply, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, like, wow, why is it? Why? Because I'm Indian. Like, okay, I want to know because I'm a very curious person. I need to go down to the facts of the root of the problem. So they just technically like ghosted me. They didn't reply whatsoever, and this happened at least 5 to 6 different. I mean, 5 to 6 times in few different occasions within these 2 years. So yeah, I was really disappointed. I also shifted to other places as well. So that is why I'm like, wow, this is really no joke lah. I mean, it does happen. It does happen. I've experienced it firsthand, especially in the housing industry. So that's why I've always advocated with my NGO and like Malaysia. I've always advocated, for no racism punya policies and all that. And for time being, I don't really see this is being brought up as much. But the thing is, the issue is prevalent. It's still existent. Maybe not many people are actually bringing this up. Yeah, this
Actually,
happens.
bro, sorry, MJ. Let me tell you something. Your story, unfortunately, is not a surprise. It's not uncommon. I personally have heard this story from many, many, many friends myself, and I'm glad that we can like kind of make a joke of it, and you make a joke of it yourself, comparing it to being ghosted by girls and all. But it is. That's my wife right there. She didn't know that her face must show the camera. But I want to hear. Is any person out there brave enough to comment who has a house for rent or an apartment for rent and has said no Indian or no Chinese or no Malay? Like I want to hear from you. why you did that, what your experience is, and with no judgment. I just want to hear, because to tell you the truth, MJ, memang betul. Yeah, people be like, oh, Melayu macam ni, Chinese macam ni, India macam ni, foreigner macam ni, Rohingya macam ni, Bangladesh macam ni. This is the problem, though. This is a complete generalization, because you're a law lecturer. Yeah, you got a name like MJ, which could be unfortunate because people like comparing you to Michael Jackson.
So true.
But then when you talk, you got a slight Chinese accent, so people are very confused, very confused about you. But here's the thing, though. I'm glad you can laugh about it. I'm glad you can smile about it. But it is a very deep sickness within. We're just going to focus on Malaysia and Singapore at the moment. That, someone like you has to go through a number of moments of interview where you are rejected. You have the seat toss, you have the secrets, you have the money, you have the capability. Tapi, tak boleh. They would rather rent it out to a different race who may, at the end of the day, not pay the rent and mess up the place. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So I've been through those kind of situations. I did ask because most of the times I would say I've never dealt with the owner per se, because every time when you rent the house, you have to deal directly with the agent. But the agent, even as law states, agent always represents what the owner wants. The agent, some people, they blame the agent. They say, oh, the agent is racist. But the fact is, it's not the agent being the race. It's not the agent being racist. It is the owner. The agent is just a tool. So
any agents out there, please let me know if you had. I can imagine agents like, yo, chibai, I had to say this to this guy. Like, oh my God, guys, I agree with you. Are there any agents out there? Let us know your experience. Please comment. Please share. MJ, don't go anywhere. I'm going to just set you out of the room right now. I'm going to bring someone else in, but I'm going to bring you back later, and maybe we can all jam on this. All right? Thank you so much, MJ. Absolutely awesome. We're just going to take MJ out of the room. Dude, MJ is just one story of many. We've got another story coming up I'd like to bring to the room. By the way, people were asking, siapa MJ ni? Siapa MJ? Tonight is not about, some Dato Sri. Tonight is about the people. Tonight is about you. Because on what's going on in Malaysia, we want to talk to you, the people. And I am meeting friends tonight. Well, people who are not my friends have suddenly become my friends. Next guy I want to bring in all the way from Penang. His name is Malcolm. Welcome to the show, Malcolm Ignatius.
Hi. Hello.
Hello, Malcolm. We spoke a little bit early on during a sound check right now. Just quickly introduce yourself, Malcolm.
Hello, I'm Malcolm. I'm from Penang. Just to touch base, I was a hospitality professional. However, retrenched, and I'm working with my wife in her kindergarten.
So Malcolm, very interesting story. You recently retrenched. You were working in the hospital industry because of the hotel industry, and because of the MCO, you've been jobless now for quite a while. That's a completely different story. Tonight, we're talking about racism. So number one, nama tu macam ada Ben Hur sikit, macam you're a gladiator. Malcolm Ignatius! You sound like a gladiator warrior.
Thank you.
But Malcolm, so tell us your story, your experience of racism in Malaysia.
Well, it's the same predicament. I can say it's the same predicament as what MJ has went through. This is on a house purchase, and again, I faced multiple agents. Again, asking for your race and asking for your ethnicity, but on this particular owner, this touch base, we chat, I think for at least 30 minutes, and he got to know my details, my background. The last thing he asked is, Malcolm, never heard your name like Malcolm, very like different lah. Are you Malaysian lah? I said yes, I am Malaysian actually, and so you're Indian lah? No, I said I'm not Indian. I'm actually Eurasian. My mom is Portuguese. My dad is Indian. Oh, so means still Indian lah. I mean, so I asked him, what are you trying to say? I mean that I'm Indian. No, we do not. I don't want Indians because they messed up my house before, and yeah, but I'm not going to rent. I want to purchase. I want to buy. I'm looking at your house. I like the house.
You actually want to buy the house?
Yes, I actually really wanted to buy the house, and but he said that, I'm sorry, but we cannot accept, even though Eurasian, I never heard such word before, but I said, you never heard such word before, Eurasian? So basically, my tempo was just basically raising up, So I said, okay, thank you very much, and I just put on the phone. Again, this is how it is.
Okay, that you see, like I said to MJ, that's this is a real common common problem. There is this stereotype out there, and your name is Malcolm Ignatius somehow. And the fact that this guy had not heard of Eurasian, sepak sekali dah.
Betul.
But dude, seriously, because okay, so here is the thing. Okay, kepada Melayu sana yang mungkin agak rasa sensitif sikit, saya akan menjelma. I'm going to bring up a topic right now, which Sandy the Malaysia will be going, oh, kau talk Melayu. Yeah, okay. For now, this particular moment, I'm going to be talking about this clip, which also refers to Indians. It's that the photograph of that lady who's a cook who's asking Indians and using the K word to balik to their negara. And, people like Malcolm out there and MJ as well are experiencing this on a daily basis. I think those who are on the other side of the divide, in my case, Melayu, we don't understand that you guys probably face this, if not on a daily basis, literally throughout your life at one point or another. How does that make you feel?
On
to be not given something, not given your dues because you're Indian, macam ni,
I'm an 80s kid. I was born in the 80s. Growing up in the 90s, racism never existed. This is what I feel. I miss those times when we were young. We don't care which background we come from. We go during a Raya, we go into each house, collect 1 ringgit, we go into Chinese New Year, we go and celebrate with their family and everything. And that is fine. But I just feel that in this current era, everybody is just focusing on, it's only mine. It's mine means it's mine. Like, ini harta aku, or if this is my blood, it's my blood. That's it. I will not touch on anybody else. Which is, again, it's sad. It's happening in Malaysia. It's very sad.
Okay, I have to agree with you. I'm also a 80s kid. Come a chameleon. Sorry, getting back to Culture Club days. But Malcolm, you stay on the line, bro, because I got one more person to bring in, and then I'm going to bring you all back in, okay? So don't go anywhere, Malcolm. Stay on the line right now. I'll see you in just a moment. Okay, the next person I'm going to bring on, and we're getting somewhere here because we've had a couple of stories. The next person I'm going to bring on is Idros Shah. What's up, Idros?
Assalamualaikum, Arif. Khabar baik, Arif.
Brother, where are you?
I'm in Singapore at the moment.
You're in Singapore at the moment. So, Idros, I saw an earlier message on YouTube saying, oh, in Singapore, racism is worse. As if it's a competition. I know Singapore wants to be better than Malaysia at everything lah. Tapi takkan you nak better than Malaysia at racism juga. So Idros, very quickly, just let us know in your experience what has happened.
I think racism is everywhere. I mean, it's been prevalent throughout, and it's not been given a limelight like how it's been in the last couple of weeks in Singapore. There have been a lot of incidences that have come to light.
The case of the Indian gentleman who was performing some prayers in front of his house, and then the Chinese speaker comes out and tong 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 tong.
I think
that blew my mind. Seriously,
that was one that really blew my mind too. But I don't think you knew about the incident where the senior lecturer from a polytechnic here actually came up to a multiracial couple and told them that they shouldn't be together. They shouldn't fall in love, and this was out down in the public. It's all over YouTube.
Whoa! I'm sorry, I missed that one. Please give me a little bit of detail.
All right. So there was this lecturer. All right. Well, it was on a Sunday evening or something like that, and he actually went up to a half Indian, half Filipino guy who was out with his half Thai, half Chinese girlfriend.
Yeah, that clip. Yeah, I did see that. I didn't realize it was the lecturer talking to them.
Yeah. So my point of joining your show, because I know I'm Singaporean, I'm across the crossway but I am a big fan of yours. I've met you in Perth and things like that. I follow your show closely. So
Oh,
when
thank
you had this topic tonight, I told myself, no, I have to be in it. I have to learn that part of it because I'm an educator at the end of the day. I left my job in Singapore as a teacher in the ministry, and there were several incidences. I mean, hearing from what MJ said and Malcolm, they've been in the hospitality industry and the housing industry, you know. But as an educator, you would like to see this thing called racism stamped out. Now, as an educator, I faced racism and among my teaching colleagues. You
Tell
see,
us about
and this is the part where when that incident regarding the lecturer came on and he was verbally abusing, and we bordered a line between not just racism but discrimination. You see, this it's a form of outright discrimination. It's not just racism here. So I've had incidences where I've been in the ministry, and you know, it's unfortunate that being a teacher, I've been told that I can't sit with a certain group of colleagues. I can't sit with a particular group of colleagues because if I want to be so-called in the view of the management, you know, if I want to be given, you know, seen as complying and being compliant and having a good opportunity in the line of promotion, so I should be seen as being with a certain group of people, and I shouldn't sit.
Let me
I
get
shouldn't
this.
be.
You were told don't sit with a certain group of people because it will hinder your climb or your progress in your job
Yeah.
or your.
So it will be a barrier to my progress in that sense.
Meaning,
And
can I?
well, I can sit with you, Harif, if you were my best friend, Harif, and I we had a good, we will laugh and joke and things like that as colleagues. If I were to be seen seated with my fellow, you know, of the same culture, same group, that would be seen as, yes, Melayu in a way. But I'm not Melayu, you see. I fall under that borderline. So in Singapore, I'm deemed as Indian, but I'm actually of Persian descent.
Okay.
So I mix Persian and Arab, but because of registration and all that, it comes under Indian. So when I got into this thing about, you know, when I saw them being, you know, incidences involving Indians, I don't identify that because I'm an Indian Muslim, you see. So I'm not Indian per se, but I do get issues where racism touches me on all levels. I've studied in England. I was a graduate in Liverpool. I've taught in 6 years. I was a head of high school in Perth. I'm actually going back there because during COVID, I've just come back to visit my parents. But I was a head of high school. So I actually left my job in the Ministry of Singapore after working for about 5-6 years because I couldn't tolerate the so-called subversive or glass panel of racism that I see. So I actually left that job and I actually took up a position in Australia.
Whoa, dude!
Yeah.
So
and I attended your show there in 2017.
thank you, man. I appreciate it. You know, here's what I got to say about that. It's actually interesting because in Malaysia, you know, the Melayu here don't get that kind of how would I say looked down upon, especially when it comes to the career and the jobs. Traditionally lah. Whereas in Singapore, you, although you are Persian / registered under Indian, blah, 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 oh, you tak boleh lepak dengan Melayu. Now, if that happened in Malaysia, oh my God,
sorry to interject, but let's look at it from the perspective of you being the minority. Because in Malaysia, technically, if you are Melayu, you're not minority, are you? But in Singapore, it's the other way around. You're the minority. So it's more like I'm just touching base with MJ's story earlier on, where it's more of the minority that gets the brunt of it.
Tell you what, I'm going to bring MJ and I'm going to bring Malcolm back into the room. Guys, welcome back into the room. You've been listening to Idros from Singapore. So Idros, for the all sense and purpose of this argument, is the minority. Although he's Persian, he's considered in Singapore. MJ, although he sounds almost Michael Jackson on the phone, very clearly Indian, and then there's Malcolm Ignatius, who's not even Indian, but so Sarani close enough to Indian, therefore it's discriminating. Dude, we got a whole mix of. There's a mix here that's just like the mix of all the mix of minorities who don't even fall into that category of what the hell is going on here right now. So
And we were 80s, isn't it?
yeah. So,
34.
my Idros, you come to Malaysia, MJ, you go Singapore, everything should be fine. You're screwed.
Based on my experience, I was working in Singapore.
Okay.
But I never faced, honestly, so far in my 6 years there, I have never faced the amount of impact of racism in Singapore when I was there.
Yeah, because your name is Malcolm Ignatius, you sound like a gladiator.
Maybe the big size, the broad shoulders. Maybe I think maybe we'll just. Shall I just mess with this guy or not? You know, maybe thinking of that, but again, it's sad.
So you've never had 6 years in Singapore. You've never had experienced any form of racism at all.
Nope. Even through rentals, I asked, they are fine. So maybe I'm just blessed.
I'll try to beat you there. 5 years in the teaching industry in Singapore, I show up in my second year with a beard after a long school holiday. So you know you have a long holiday, you tend to you not shave and things like that. So the next thing you don't expect is from your colleagues and your fellow teachers, your teaching fraternity, to actually come up and tell you, what's with the beard? You going for ISIS?
Wow.
What is going? I can concur with what Idros has stated as well. Like for me, I tend to shave. I usually like to keep it clean shaven. They have a bit of dot. There was one time that I grew a very thick beard, so I went to a mamak shop. No joke, no joke. This is true story. I went to a mamak shop, and then some people, they talked to me very rudely. Hey, abai, roti satu. No joke, it happened to me as well. I mean, still the way they treated me, because they assumed that I was a person from a different country because I look very different when with a beard. So still, albeit the fact when you talk about minority, like maybe that's how some people they treat minority in that mentality as well. But stating, I mean, to what like Idros has stated as well, like what we have faced here, for example, in Singapore, he's a minority. In Malaysia, I'm considered like a minority,
Yeah.
I believe all of these things, these small nuances, like the way that you tell, hey, if you don't eat your food, the Indian guy will come and catch you,
Oh, the Apu Nene guy will come and get you.
Yeah, it happened to me once, I was in a restaurant and the small girl there, she just looking at me and then she called me the name directly. The mom had to like ask her to keep quiet. Happened to me as well. It was so adorable, but I was like, okay, what is the parents teaching their child? But another thing that is very big that happened to me personally was the letter K. I believe you know what is the letter K. It's a slur that's used specifically on the Indian community. Nowadays, because I'm a bit more older, I'm now around 26, so I don't really get the K word as much as I got during my times in high school or got during my times in Sekolah Rendah. And I was from a Kebangsaan school, I'm started from SK, I went to SMK and all that. Racism was still very prevalent there, A lot of people just call me, hey, K, it's like something so normal. And I'm in my head, my fluency in bahasa is quite okay. I fasih juga sikit-sikit, But then still, I mean, why that word? Is it some kind of like a joke? So I think it starts, from home itself, in this kind of nuances that's actually happening.
Actually, I agree with you. At the end of the day, it actually starts from education and it starts at home. For me, like. I was fortunate that I did not grow up in a home where, racist words were used or racist thoughts were used. But I can tell you a story. This is a true story right now that was actually told to me by one of my neighbors. So my neighbor was at his home, and next door there were a couple of kids who were about 7 or 9 years old, and there was an Indian family walking by, and they threw stones at this Indian family. So my neighbor, who is Malay, walked over to the kids and said, "Hey, adik, kenapa ni? Kenapa adik, kenapa?" And the kids were innocent, and he asked them, why are you doing this? And they basically said, "Oh, mak dengan ayah said it's okay to throw stones at Indians." Now, these kids were completely innocent. They were not. They were just given this information, fed this information. Now, by the way, people out there, do not mistake this for, ini memang Melayu macam ni. No, because I can tell you that this has nothing to do with race. This fear, this education, this level of brainwashing is nothing to do with race. It is to do with fear. Actually, it's to do with fear. It's to do with not understanding. So when, for example, guys, I don't know whether you can concur with me. You know, when you're in a room and people are speaking in a different language and everybody's communicating and you don't understand, you fear them. Now, that's not to say that something's wrong with you or something wrong with them, but hey, what are people talking about? What are people talking about? So it's for me, it is all about fear. It is all about not understanding what the other person is about and using it to oppress other people by putting fear in other people of another race. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I guess that's very much the practice, because when people fear, they feel threatened by someone who's of a different, who offers a different kind of identity or personality, and they feel threatened in that sense. So I guess being in the education industry, I felt that a lot, being different. But I mean, what is surprising is that in the education field, especially these days with modern education and perspectives, you are supposed to embrace new identities. You are supposed to be more aware of your surrounding, be more sensitive to cultural bearings, and you know. So I find this very difficult in the sense that, are we really preaching what we teach? So that is the question, you see, because if we are to say that racism exists in the public sphere and whether it stems from home, aren't we in the education arena supposed to uphold the truth in teaching what is right and wrong? You see, I know we are not all perfect, and teachers are mere human beings as well. You know, I'm bound for mistakes and things like that. But the point is, we are supposed to, in a way, nurture the next generation of people. So that is my main concern.
Idros, I'm sorry to cut you off right now. I wanna handle something right now, which is a common. Let's take a little time to educate, and I thank Abu Akil Sharawi for bringing this up. No judgment, but here is a statement from Abu Akil. Keling tu bukan ke asal sebab kebanyakan India yang datang ke Malaysia datang dari Kerala. Betulkah saya atau silap? Now, thank you, Abu. Terima kasih kerana tanya soalan tu. So, the argument given by a lot of people is, tapi Keling tu daripada Kerala, apa salahnya? Now, okay, here is where, okay, this is my opinion. I'm not a expert on socialism or history, but the word, the K word, Keling, it's all about intention. Now, you can argue that, because they came from Kerala, what is wrong with using the word? But it's your intention. What is the intention of using the word? And if that group of people have decided that the word is offensive, you cannot argue that, it is not offensive, because that is where they're from. If you stand and argue, but that's where you're from, then you are already defending something which someone else offensive. So that is just my point of view, and I know a lot of people think that, tapi they're from Kerala. Why they so worried? Why they so worried? Now,
no offense, Harif. If you use the word Keling, it's an offensive term, and like you say, it's an intention. It's just like you using the word nigger, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, and as we grew up, as I grew up and all that, like in America, if you use the so-called the N-word, in America, it is in a way it's a crime. You can't say it. Only if you are a person of a skin color, you can say it. But if you are not of that particular race, you can't say that word. And this word, this so-called concept, should also be applied in Malaysia strongly, in which we have to ban the K word from being used in public. And that starts with the officials as well, the government officials. It has to be started by the policymakers to actually tell people that this word is wrong. Because from a legal perspective, like when you talk about law is made because of an understanding of a community that comes together to decide, okay, this is what is right. They have given consent towards this thing that's called law. Same goes over here. The word killing has already been consented by this group of Indian community that it is something that is offensive. Hence, with that logic, this sort of offensiveness should be interpreted in the words of law that states that you can't use certain words like this. And that not only applies to Indians, that should also apply to the Malay community, the Chinese community. Certain words that are deemed very offensive to them, there has to be a list of what kind of words that shall not be used. There should be like an anti-discrimination act itself. So this is just my opinion per se. Thank you.
Absolutely agree with you. I just want to say that the comments are blowing up on Facebook and YouTube. Everybody on Facebook, please share this live. Thank you so much for doing that. On YouTube, Shari Mail says, killing is a word used to describe people originating from the Indian subcontinent by the native Malaysian Indonesians. It is now generally considered offensive by the majority of Indians. So, okay, check this out. I'm also a kid of the 80s. And my best friends in school, this is true story. My best friends in school were Kenny Chong, Chinese, Don Dave Benjamin, Sarani, what is that? And Panir Silvam, Indian. And when we met up every day before school, it was like, "Oi, China, oi, Bodo, hey, Melayu, Malas, hey, India, oi, bagaimana?" And we all, hugged each other. And we were Deepavali, I went to Panir's house, and Christmas we went to Don Dave's house, and then Hari Raya they all come to my house, and Chinese New Year we went to Kenny Chong's house. But because there was no intention meant in harm, the words were thrown about. Yep. But someone says to me now, you cannot say that about Melayu, or you cannot say that about Chinese. I get it. I'm like, yeah, I don't go, hey, tapi dulu I used to say that. No, words change. Intentions change, meanings change. Go with the times. It's like saying, oh, I'm not going to watch anything on YouTube because TV is the way to go. Dude, times change. So I personally used to call my Panir Silvam, bless his soul, the K word. That was 1983. I wouldn't do it now, just because, like MJ said, times have moved on. Things have changed right now. So that's my personal point of view. I tell you what, the guys, this has been an absolute crazy conversation. People have been. Thank you so much for everyone who's been commenting on the show as well. Here's my wish and my desire. A lot of people who go and say things like, yeah, there was one comment on Facebook early on like, yes, I want to talk about racism because my Indian neighbor does this and this and this and this and this. So in wanting to champion the cause of talking about racism, automatically goes to my Indian neighbor does this and this and this and this and this. These are stereotypes, guys. Let me just point this out to everyone. To all the people who are jumping up in arms about go and save the Palestinians, and we got to save the Palestinians, and they're being oppressed and all. Some of them are the same people who are like, don't let the Rohingyans come in. Now, this is my point of view. Okay, when you ask them, "Hey, kenapa tak suka Rohingya? Why you don't like Rohingya?" Oh, because they're dirty and the blah 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 blah. Yeah, human beings are dirty and mess up and screw you over and will cheat you. Human beings, that is human nature. The race, the religion, the place they come from may or may not have something to do with it, but human beings do that. Because at the end of the day, we are all the human race. The human race, the subsections of Indian, Chinese, Malay, Sarani, Bajau, Persian, all came later on in history as we moved across and split ourselves into countries. But at the end of the day, we are all we're Malay. We are the human race, and we speak different languages. Yes. But I know this is cliched. And my dad told this to me many, many years ago, but you cut us, all of us, uh, uh, Malcolm and Idros and MJ and everybody out there, and the blood is red. End of story. And when you die, you die. No race dies better than the rest. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. I'm just ranting a little bit here, lah. This is just my personal point of view, lah. And anybody want to say something? Sorry, I'm just.
But having said that, sorry to interject. Okay. Having said that, if we pass on, yeah, all races are the same. But as we are living right now, just like what they say in Animal Farm, all races are the same, but some races are. I'll leave you to complete. Most.
Okay. I'm going to be controversial here. So Paul Kima says he was called Mata Sepet Cina Babi. Okay, I'm going to quote someone here. This is a common line among many of the stand-up comedians. Isn't it weird that Cina Babi is a slur when in fact the pig is one of the favorite food of the Chinese? It's like saying, "Oi, Melayu, nasi lemak." Yeah, dude, awesome. Yeah, sambal, man, rocking. It's just. I'm sorry. This is the way stand-up comedians think. This is the way we talk. This is the way we handle things. But it's absolutely crazy that we are in 2021 right now. We're in the middle of a COVID pandemic. Malaysia and Singapore. Singapore, how are you doing, by the way? COVID, everything all right?
Yeah, still surviving. Missing Malaysia a lot.
Okay, but the end of the day, COVID will kill you regardless of your race. Yeah, whether you are Melayu, Malas, Cina, Babi, or killing India, you're gonna die with COVID. You just you don't care. COVID don't care. COVID's not like, oh, kau kaya ke, kau miskin ke. Okay. COVID's like, I got you. And guess what? The people who are fighting COVID, the frontliners, the people in the hospitals, the people delivering your foods are of all the races. Now, so I don't know whether you guys saw this the other day. So that clip I pointed out of this fight in Shah Alam, as it turns out, was not really about race. But it was violent in the extreme that people were shouting each other over a parking space and all. Now, my point is actually, when this kind of thing goes down, I'm glad it hasn't exploded into a racial tension, but it is so easily exposed to snap from a fight over a parking spot. It becomes a fight of this race against that race, and that is where dangerous, because suddenly, as a race, you are forced to take the side. So let's just say today Malcolm and me fight. Okay, Malcolm and me fight, and I suddenly go, "Oi, Bodo Serani that looks like an Indian or whatever," and then you go, "Oi, Bodo Melayu that don't know what race you are." MJ are forced to take sides because MJ is going to go, "Oh, I look like an Indian. I guess I got to take Malcolm's side." And he goes like, "Oh, they call me, I got a name like a Malay. I got to take Harry's side." And then when you go, "Wait, hold on a second. Harry said something wrong, or Malcolm said something wrong. Let's see, MJ, you took my side." And then everybody goes, "Hey, MJ, oh, you are Durhaka. You are against our race." And suddenly it becomes about the race rather than the argument. And that is the issue of racism, when the name, the color, the ethnicity takes over the argument of right or wrong. And that's just my 2 cents worth. I mean, I don't know. Malcolm, you must have gone through life really confused, because Malcolm Ignatius, what are you? Where are you from?
One thing that I don't like in application form is the race. They should remove that. Yeah. They should remove that. I mean, we are Malaysians. We are not subjected to what race you are or what ethnicity you come from. I feel that it should be eliminated. It's either you're Malaysian or you're not Malaysian. That's it.
I agree with you, but they also add
line. I think there's the line section there.
Yeah.
You put that line.
Okay, so exactly that. It's been in my stand-up comedy show for years. I've been talking about getting rid of the 4 boxes. You know what? Frankly speaking, I don't think it's going to happen in my lifetime, but it's a little bit of a pipe wish. I just want to handle this one issue. from Kumarasen, who says, why some of them out there highlight as Pandatang if we are not Malaysian? Yeah. So this issue, when people get angry, and Sunny say, go back to where you came from. Go back to where you came from. My father or my grandfather was Jawa. He's actually from Indonesia. So I fall into that category as well, that I should go back to Jawa. Never been there. Don't know. I don't have a house or land there. So I'm not sure I'm going to go back to. Maybe some good food. But the idea that you throw this sentence, go back to where you're from, go back to where you came from. Dude, the Chinese in China don't know that the Chinese in Malaysia. There are South Africans, Malaysian South Africans who don't know about Malays in Malaysia. You know, there are Malaysian Christmas Island in Australia who don't know about the Malays in Malaysia. When I say don't know, I mean we don't identify with each other than we have this Malayness about us. I mean, has any of you been told to go back where you came from?
Yeah, I mean, this so-called this pendatang term has always been a subject. You know, aside from those kind of racial slurs, the pendatang. When you call someone a pendatang and you call him a pendatang per se, you are denying the very fact that the person is indeed a Malaysian. You know, you are denying the very existence fact that the person is a person of this nation. Okay, because one day, touch wood, you know, if a war breaks out and all that, the people that you allege as pendatang, they are the first ones that's going to be in the front lines to put their lives for the nation, to their lives for the country. So when you call someone pendatang, you know, it's basically denying their very fact of them being citizens. They are denying the very fact that they exist in this country and this land also belongs to them in a way as well. So that pendatang term, it has very huge psychological implication, you know, towards people in general. When you always use the same thing over and over again, you know, when you let this culture, you know, from young, and then this person become old, then he's going to tell to his children. So this thing, when you call pendatang, the K word, you know, or those kind of racial slurs like Cina, babi, or even, you know, Melayu malas, when you bring this thing up continuously until the very end, you know, when go through next generations, this thing will just keep on moving. That is the reason why this pendatang thing, you know, it's something that has to end. And when I say end, means not only does it start from the home or even the policy education, even our policy makers, they need to really draft regulations, draft policies to actually ensure that these sort of things are not being said out in public. You know, we need to.
It can start with policy. That is one way of doing it. End of the day, it starts with the individual. It starts with you. It starts with you at home, with your family, your community, and hopefully going out there. Guys, I want to say something. This has been an absolute pleasure talking to every one of you. Idros in Singapore, Malcolm in Penang, and MJ in Subang. I think this kind of topic. You know what? A lot of people say, yeah, but you're not going to solve anything. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're not going to solve anything in a 1 hour Facebook, YouTube live. But what warms my heart and what I'm really glad to see is the amount of comments, of support, and people who connect to this topic. And I want to thank my 3 new friends right now, who I did not know before the show, but I feel we've connected in some level. Malcolm, Idros, and MJ, thank you so much for joining me on this show.
Thank you.
Thank you for spreading the good message. There are a lot of good people out there. Malcolm, I wish you all the best.
You too.
The hotel industry when you come back on. MJ, when you go back to full-time as a part-time lecturer. You're too young to be a lecturer, by the way, dude.
I get that a lot.
and it was, may Persia someday find you. I'm not sure. You're totally confused. So guys, thank you very much. I'm going to say goodbye to each one of you right now. Thank you for being in the show. I'm just going to remove from the room and keep in touch. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank
you. Okay, that was absolutely amazing. I had absolute amazing time talking to all these people. I want to talk to you right now, my friends on Facebook. Sonia Haridas Munyadi says, my grandparents are from Kerala, India, but my parents, my other relatives, and myself are all born in Malaysia. I cannot have full love for India, which is not the country I was born in. I am Malaysian. Tanah tumpahnya darahku. Sonia, absolutely. Tanah tumpahnya darahku, which is, yeah, it's in the national anthem. So I'm going to jump to YouTube right now. You guys, Lyndon, it's an outrage to call India Pandatang, dude. We have had so much support and comments coming out here. Before I go, here's what I want to say, just basically about racism and what is happening to this country, or what is happening to the people. At the end of the day, if you don't learn something from COVID or the pandemic, the simple one lesson is, let's take COVID as an example. The pandemic, COVID, kills everyone, regardless of race, religion, stature, title, finance, money, poor, poverty, rich, whatever. The people looking after, supporting the Malaysians, the frontliners, the doctors, the police, fire engine and nurses, everyone, don't look at you as they're trying to save you as what race are you. When you see them, they're full PPE gears, you can't see what race are they. At that moment, your race doesn't matter. It does not matter. Your political party does not matter. Your bank balance does not matter. What matters is your heartbeat and the blood that goes through your veins. Now, if you can take that one moment, potentially life and death moment, and then expand that into your life, then maybe you can realize that, oh, I'm not going to rent my house or an apartment to this race of person because they're not going to pay the rent or they're going to be dirty. Maybe you can then realize, you know what? It's not the race, it's the idiot who doesn't pay their rent or keeps a place dirty. Nothing to do with the race. Just as dying has nothing to do with your race. Guys, with that, I just want to say once again, yeah, we're not going to solve the problems of Malaysia in a 1-hour episode of What's Going on Malaysia, but I have had an absolute pleasure and an honor to spend this time with you. Thank you to everyone who has been watching on Facebook and YouTube. Please keep on commenting on both. I'm gonna start watching YouTube more and more often right now. Lavinia says, I am not line, I am Malaysian. Yes, Lavinia, you rock and roll. It has been my absolute pleasure to be with you. Please, last request, please share this Facebook post. Please share the YouTube link. Share it, copy paste, WhatsApp it. Tell people to watch this, because here is my belief. I believe there are a lot more like-minded people like ourselves who believe that unity will carry us through this all and not hate. I believe there are a lot more of us, and we need to share this positive message with everyone, just so though the positivity comes out of the woodwork. Ladies and gentlemen, terima kasih, share, toche. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for commenting. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. My name is Harith Iskandar. It has been my absolute pleasure to spend this moment with you. And at the end of the day, please stay safe, stay healthy, and I hope to see you on the other side where we can all meet up. And you know what? I'm going to have more of these sessions where I get to hear from you guys directly and we get to talk, because it has been an absolute pleasure and an honor for me. Thank you. Good night. Remember, share this Facebook post. Keep on commenting. I'll get to all the comments on Facebook, and I will get to all the comments on YouTube. Sayang, would you like to say good night? Good night, my son. Say good night. Selamat malam. Thanks, guys. We'll see you real soon. Harith Iskandar. What's going on, Malaysia?